and welcome to another episode of Four Whales, Sea Whales with me, Robin Morgan.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
With me?
Me?
Me kind of, Mel Owen.
And I, Will Hayward.
Very strong. How are we both?
Very well, thank you. The sun is out. I'm in a good mood.
Good, I'm glad. You're looking very summery.
Thank you
You
so
are
much.
looking very summery.
Oh, thank you. A bit of, I thought, encourage. What's it called? Pathetic fallacy?
Yeah, I
Where,
think so.
when you read something, like the weather reflects the mood.
Yeah.
That's me. I am pathetic fallacy.
Yeah, I am. It's a very good band name, I think.
It is, isn't it?
Pathetic Fallacy.
Yes.
Like one of my next death metal band projects.
Are you still in touch with anyone from the death metal band?
Both of them came to see, 2 out of the 5 came to see me at my latest stand-up show at the Glee, and they were sat on the front row and I had no idea they were there.
You didn't, did you know, do you recognise them?
Yeah, but like
okay.
40 minutes into the show, so I was like, we were in a band.
You're pathetic fallacy.
Yeah. Fucking rock on, guys. Yeah.
Rock on.
Did you make note of it?
I chatted to them for like 30 seconds and I was like, let's catch up at the end. I'm at work.
kind of doing something right now, really.
Yeah, exactly. A bit busy, but thank you for paying to see me.
Are any of what was the name of your band again?
Black Despondency.
Sorry, are any of Black Despondency
In
still
prison?
involved in music?
No, I don't think so. I haven't spoken to the singer since he left the band.
Did he leave on bad terms?
Leave under a cloud.
I don't think so, but this
Was
is
it like Charlie from Busted when he tried to
It
go
was
solo?
He did Fight Star, didn't he?
Yeah.
The heavier band Fight Star.
Yeah, and it didn't catch on.
Mate, they had a few good songs.
Did they?
Yeah, Paint Your Target, great song. I didn't think I'd be talking about Fight Star.
Who was the one? Was it Matt Willis with
Willis.
the like he had a mohawk bit on the side?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was pretty wild, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're listening to Four Whales, Sea Whales.
Sponsored by Busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a mohawky sitch going on today.
It's going a bit. It's going tomorrow.
What hairstyles did you have as a teenager? Have you ever adapted your hairstyle?
I had from the age of 8 to 16. I had a quiff.
Yeah.
But very Simon from the In-Betweeners.
Yeah, great.
Like shockwaves from Weller.
Yeah,
It's
great-
gelled
a
straight
great
up.
product.
I then tried to dye my hair blonde in the Eminem period. Yeah.
No way.
Did you?
Not because of Eminem. I tried to dye my hair blonde and I did it myself over the bath and didn't put any on the sides and I didn't leave it in long enough so it went really ginger. And then the next day in school, a girl called Sarah Flynn said, "Oh, does your hair go like light in the summer?" And I was like, "Yeah."
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's the sun.
This heat wave we're having in
Got
November.
away with this. Yeah, exactly. This festive season.
I was very High School Musical in uni, like very long, like kind of Zac Efron.
Oh, great. I
did
bet you were.
I'd have been obsessed with that.
That's when I had the eyebrow piercing and the ear piercing and all that sort of.
Goodness
Yeah.
me.
I was so obsessed with Zac Efron, like to an unhealthy level.
Good-looking
and
boy.
He was so like. I remember, we will get onto politics, but there's a scene in 17 again where he gets out of an Audi, and I remember I was at a sleepover, and I would have been like year 8, I think, and all of us girls, something physical happened to all of us. Like one girl started like tearing the curtains off the wall, like it was. I was like punching a cushion, like I just had like this physical feeling that I could not explain.
Sure.
And every time I see that scene, I mean, now he is like 17 and I feel like a bit of a nonce.
Sure.
But it did something to me. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you guys. I've been all over the place.
My nickname at uni was Troy because that was his name in High School Musical.
Oh my God.
Sorry, this is a fucking humble brag that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
dishing
No,
out.
My nickname at high school was World's Sexiest Man. Sorry about that.
You know how all the girls are
Sorry.
obsessed with Zac Efron? Everyone said I look like him,
The bullies call me Cover Star.
Yeah. My nickname was Beyonce.
Please continue, Troy.
No. Let's talk about how people can help the pod because pod's been growing really well. I was at Plaid Cymru conference over the weekend. People are really excited about it, but we want to keep growing. We want to keep making this bigger and bigger ahead of the Senate election because we think there's a big space for people to feel more informed. So what can people do? Sharing this podcast, because basically the main way we grow is for people saying, "Have you heard this? It's quite good." If you don't think it's good, don't do it.
I'll take it. It's fine.
Okay.
Views, baby.
Hate on us so hard.
Hate watch it.
I'll enjoy it.
And also subscribing and reviewing the podcast is massively helpful.
Yeah, it really helps. And also just like word of mouth, it's such a powerful thing, isn't it? So please, any kind of engagement, it all helps. But also, everyone just pop off on our socials. We see you. They're great. So thank you to everybody who comments, sends DMs, even the mean ones. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the mean ones.
Yeah,
I think it humbles us.
Yeah.
The Welsh news magazine, I say magazine, Golwg, did a review of us, which I couldn't read.
Yes.
What did they say, man?
Well, it was more kind of like, if you're into Welsh politics, what should you be consuming? And we were very much featured in that,
cool.
and which was lovely. So thank you so much for the feature. Are you guys, well, I suppose you're not keen readers of Golwg, are you?
I read it for the articles and the pictures,
I have been on the cover twice.
Cover star? You both cover stars?
Cover star. They did call me a national treasure after reviewing my book as well. They said she may be young to write an autobiography, but she's not too young to be a national treasure.
So hang on.
That's a great
I
quote.
got slagged off for my humble brags.
Yeah.
By the way, this was
mine's
this
not
was
humble,
me at uni.
by the way.
That picture. I'm showing them a picture. I was such a knob.
You look great.
I used to go out in a shirt with a skinny tie.
Yeah, no, absolutely you would. Is that Hollister?
It is Hollister.
Yeah, you can tell.
It's fake Hollister.
I bet you would have probably worked at Hollister. You know, the fit ones who they put outside the shop?
Yeah, I bet they were.
I was more blue
I've been
banana.
there with my torch.
I was blue banana. I was a bit more
banana.
alternative. I was a bit
I don't think they put anyone outside Blue Banana with a bong.
Right. Shall we move on to talk about Welsh politics?
I do have something I need to share with you guys.
Go on.
Before I saw something on X this week.
I love X.
It made me want to abolish the Senedd. I'm going to say that.
Do it.
I saw this photo. So it was tweeted by Nathan Wyburn, artist. And it was a photo of Nathan in a train toilet on Great Western Railway. Now, at first glance, it is we can't find anywhere to sit. Look at us sitting in the toilets.
Yeah.
He's sat with our First Minister, right? Which, fair enough, great. A woman of the people. However, do you see anything wrong with this image?
Oh, she got her shoes off?
Yes.
Oh, she's got her shoes off.
Our First Minister is in a train toilet with no shoes on. I think she may have
that a
pop
train
songs.
toilet?
Yes. I was on the train this morning. I was on a Great Western Railway, no shade to them, but I felt like I was getting hepatitis as I walked into the carriage. She has no shoes on.
Off this picture, I'm predicting a reform landslide.
100%. I will campaign myself off the back of this. What? If you are a Senedd member listening to this, please raise this in the chamber because I need to know why.
What I'd really like now is to do a hard cut and then it is sat there.
Welcome, First Minister.
You know, like when Dapper Laughs had to apologise on Newsnight and for some reason he wore a turtleneck. Like I feel like she's going to be wearing a turtleneck, but she's got socks on this time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, she got shoes on.
I hope she's well. I hope she hasn't caught anything. And I would like some questions answered, that's all. But I just needed to bring that with you because a problem shared is a problem thirded.
Yeah.
That is what I've done.
Yeah, we will have to ask her to comment on this.
Well, I'm drafting the email right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, well, actually, we'll start by having a little chat about Labour.
As the weather's getting a little bit better, it's nice to be outside and just see the bit more sunlight. Eating outdoors, al fresco Welsh cuisine. You guys?
Well fresco?
Well fresco. Yeah, very,
bit.
very nice. I really like the sort of pop-up foodie places though. It's nice, isn't it? Like proper nice little day out.
Yeah, outside street food. Well, do you know what is great to get some street food out of if you do want to dine al fresco? Is a shipping container restaurant or eatery.
They don't need planning permission, do they?
They don't need the same kind of planning permission.
Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely true, because they're temporary. You can plug and go as well.
Yeah, plug in and play.
Exactly. And also, you don't need the same commitment as bricks and mortar. You don't need the same planning permission. So it's a really good kind of shop front for your food business.
So if you want to quit the rat race and live the dream and be somebody selling their food for sweet dollar,
My goodness gracious.
a great place to do it would be a shipping container.
I'm really hungry.
Absolutely. Should we all go find our own individual shipping container eatery now and then report back which one was the best?
Makes me think a bit like Roller Coaster Tycoon or Theme Park, where you used to sort of like, did you ever do
Theme
that?
Park.
Yes.
I love Theme Park World.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. If you were to get a shipping container, where would you go?
Where would I go?
Yeah, where would you purchase a shipping container from?
I would go for the Lion Containers. I think that's the only obvious choice, to be honest
I think
with
that's
you.
fair enough. Stupid question.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, where can we find them? I think it's www.lioncontainers.co.uk.
I think it is there.
Yeah.
We should go there now.
Yeah, let's go now.
Okay, so over the weekend, I got forwarded an email that Welsh Labour sent to its members in Wales. And this was sent to me by people within Welsh Labour. So not just like general members, but people a bit more senior.
Sure.
I've seen this on your newsletter.
You read it?
I did. Okay, yeah.
I read
Did
it
you
this,
really?
I read it this
actually
week
did.
as well. You sent it at a very good time this week.
Yeah.
I send it the same time every week.
But yes, I've seen this and I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh, okay. So let me read out what this email said. So this went to all their members. Do you want to support Welsh Labour's campaign from the comfort of your home? Do you
Shoes off.
Do you regularly watch Welsh political TV shows and radio programmes? Then we need your help. We are looking for a team of, this is in bold, Welsh Labour eyes and ears who can help us monitor our opposition in local Welsh media, what they say and when they say it. This will help us know what our opposition are saying about policy positions and about us as Welsh Labour. It will identify when our opposition are U-turning on previous comments, and it will help us notice when party spokespeople are saying something entirely different to their party colleagues. You don't need to know Plaid Cymru or Reform's policies inside out. Just letting us know what the opposition spokespeople are saying something is interesting and helpful. We can then use this information to highlight any hypocrisies, respond to any attacks on us, and spotlight any general silliness.
Silliness.
Selena's.
General silliness. At your service.
General silliness. It's fun in his platoon, but you don't last long.
Oh, no, boy. Yeah. You burn bright.
The thing I found most funny was the fact that they referenced Reform and Plaid Cymru. Couldn't give a shit about the Welsh Conservatives at all.
Yeah, that's what's
They
it
were
burn?
like, talk about fucking silliness. There we go.
And P.S. Let us know what Jane's up to.
Do you watch any niche American Christian organisations?
yeah.
Let us know what Darren Miller's up to stateside.
This is wild.
It is wild. It's all the more wild because they listed 5 things that they wanted people to keep an eye out on. So one of these is BBC Wales and ITV Wales evening news.
Sure.
So please watch the news.
Sure.
Okay. BBC Radio Wales breakfast show. That's not your one. It's 7 till 9.
That's James and Dot and a lot of other brilliant producers and presenters. They're very, very strong.
He's such a kiss ass. BBC Radio Wales Sunday supplement. So 8
Also
a.m.
good.
Yeah. I sometimes go on that.
Not
invited. Just
yeah, sure.
protest.
I once went on that last year to do. It wasn't like a newspaper review, but it was like to give my opinion on certain topics.
Yeah.
And I accused Andrew Davis of being a scarecrow, and I don't think it went down particularly well. But,
Very insightful.
Well, and now he's gone.
Yeah, and now he's gone. Coincidence? Yes. Continue, Will.
He spent his time looking for a heart. Is that why he was a scarecrow?
Oh, I don't know. Is that what Scarecrow was looking for?
What was the lion was looking for courage? The scarecrow was looking for a heart, wasn't he?
What was Tin Man looking for?
Oh, probably he don't have hearts either.
Dem girls.
Damn bitches.
Damn bitches.
Also, ITV Wales is Sharp End, which
Yeah.
is on once a week. But they also put it's on Tuesday evening at 10:45 p.m. But you can watch it on catch up.
Yeah.
And Politics Wales, which is on a Sunday morning. So essentially, there's 5 shows.
Yeah.
Like some of them are daily, most of them are once a week. I watch and listen to most of these anyway as just a very small part of my job. The Welsh Labour are really well resourced. Of all the Welsh parties, they've got the most money. It is really weird that essentially the governing party are saying to their members, "Can you watch the news for us?"
Can you Gogglebox this for us? Is that okay?
Do they not employ people to keep an eye on other parties' policies? Is that not what's happening?
Some of these shows, they have people on. They'll have their own MPs on their own MSs on Sharp End.
It's a bit beggy, is what it is. I'm really confused as to, are they trying to engage members who aren't well enough to kind of go door knocking and that type of thing?
Yes. Coming up to an election, parties are desperate to try and make their members feel engaged because they are like the foot soldiers who are going to go out or, in this case, watch the news. So a spokesperson from Welsh Labour said, Welsh Labour campaigns are open to all members. We have members who want to support our efforts, but we as a team acknowledge that not everybody wants to or is able to campaign through traditional methods like phone canvassing or door knocking. There may be a number of reasons for this, including disability. This is an additional opportunity for Labour members across Wales to get involved. As the old Labour saying goes, there's a job for everyone.
It's very nice. The start of the email that was leaked to you, though, was like, is anybody talking about us? Like,
it is feeling that.
It's quite anxiety the day after a night out, and you've like had a bit to drink, and you're like, did I do anything bad?
There'd be two. Get tagging, girl.
Are we still friends?
Because you only put one kiss on the text. I just feel like maybe you hate me now.
The group chat's quite quiet, and I don't know if it's because what I did.
You just did a thumbs up to my response.
Yeah.
It's quite Mean Girls as well, though, isn't it? Just like, let us know what they're saying.
We're trying to write a burn book.
Yeah, 100%.
I think there's two ways this wouldn't be weird. If it was a party like the Greens, who just don't really have much infrastructure,
sure,
I could understand them saying this.
Yes.
Also, other ways it'd be less weird is if it was more niche stuff. So
sure,
they've missed off like any Welsh speaking stuff, which actually I think might be more, because you might not have as much resource to cover all of these things. It doesn't cover any like local journalism or anything like that. So that is a bit weird.
I've got something that seems strange about it, is that they haven't put our fucking podcast on the list.
No, or my fucking newsletter.
That's rude, actually.
What?
That is so rude.
Ilined, put some fucking shoes on and start paying attention to us, please.
Do you think maybe
She might do now, to be fair. She may do now.
We were so close to getting her on. Shit. But if we do get her on, we have to obviously do what we did with Drakeford, where we provide some kind of treat. Are we just going to put like flip-flops?
Yeah. Like in a spa when you have loads of like robes and sandals and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Or like on a night out, the Christians go around handing out like toast and shoes for the girls to wear. That's what we could do.
I didn't know this.
Do you not? Is this not a thing?
No.
Yeah. So like some like really kind people basically go out, and then about 2 a.m. they're there like, oh, you look like you need some toast. Have this, babe. And then if she's taking her shoes off, be careful. Here's some shoes. Yeah.
And it's the Christians who
Yeah.
Darren Miller.
Fair play to Darren Miller.
Handing out a Bible. You fucking need this.
Yeah, like inside there, some flats.
Some little pumps.
Bumps.
The other thing about this is, if it was, because what you do often see in like when you see like private messages between like parties and members is saying, we're going to be on this, can you elevate it on social media?
Sure.
Can you share it? Can you make it look like there's like this groundswell of support? I can understand that.
Yes.
But this is just this isn't the biggest deal, but I do think it's just a bit weird.
It's I mean, I'm loath to say this because I don't want to have a catchphrase, but it's a bit basic.
Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah. It's giving like, you know, on Gavin and Stacey when Mick was going to be on the news,
Oh, sure.
and then everyone was like ringing around like, you got to be watching it, you got to be. It's giving that. It's like, we got to be on the news, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like, as you say, they've got people to listen to what other people are saying.
Yeah.
Right. It's just what are people going to do? Like text in.
Also, average party members, it's going to be absolutely in madness what they're sending in. They're going to spend all their time just working out what their members are telling them. People will be ringing and go, Plaid Cymru said they support independence.
Yeah,
stuff
sure.
like that.
Yeah.
It'll be that kind of thing. On the subject of Plaid Cymru, I spent the weekend at their conference in Llandudno.
You dirty stop out.
Yeah, I know. Wild. Let's talk about it, because I entered the Rhunicorn stable.
No.
Didn't like that at all.
Hated that.
Hated every second of it.
Okay, so Plaid Cymru conference. Party conferences are a time to get the people together. It's like rally the troops. It's to discuss what they're going to be doing in the future. It's essentially a time to like showcase that they mean business and stuff is going on. You get lots of public affairs professionals going there, so lobbyists. Sometimes you get businesses going there. They get stands there, and it's supposed to be this melting pot of ideas. What's also really funny is, obviously, you get everyone from that party. You often sometimes get Lib Dems. Lib Dems have a thing of going to other party conferences.
Very Lib Dem
That is
behaviour.
so Lib Dem.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
It is cute, isn't it? Yeah.
What are they doing?
think
Just
it's-
saying hi?
Jane Dodds wants company.
Yeah.
She wasn't there. That was it.
But that's like, you know, when you were a fresher and you used to go to the freshers fair and get
Yes.
like a plant and a poster of Scarface and
Yes.
join the fucking canoeing society or something.
Yeah. Please, can I make friends?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I almost joined the Cricket Society, and then I met one of the guys from the Cricket Society, the Freshers' Fair, and thought, no, fuck this.
You were like, not for me.
No.
You good at cricket?
I'm all right at cricket. I'm as good at cricket as you can be without being good.
Interesting.
I joined the cheerleading society and I really didn't enjoy it because I'm tall. They always put me at the bottom of everything.
Yeah,
Are you the base of the pyramid?
Yeah, and like
That's
my main character
frustrating.
energy was not. It was very Michelle of
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
and
sure.
I really wanted to be at the top.
Did you want to sort of break free and then like kill everyone else?
Yeah, I'm the star. I'm a little pom pom.
The star is really the NHS who will be helping these people with their broken necks.
What is interesting about Plaid is they like to talk policy. They love policy.
Yeah.
Policy's like their thing. And they had some ideas, and I'll run some by you. So this is an idea I spoke to Mabon ap Gwynfor. He's their health spokesperson, and he's the guy who has put forward like the fairly detailed plans on how they want to cut waiting lists and stuff like that. This isn't official policy, but rumour had reached my ears that he was weighing up potentially abolishing the health boards in Wales. So we've got 7 health boards in Wales, so Cardiff and Vale, Aneurin Bevan, Betsy Cadwallader, Hulvar, Powys, Swansea Bay, and Cumtaf.
Very well done.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was getting ropey at the end there, and
was.
I was sweating for you.
It was.
Those tattoos were worth it.
I'm just going to read that.
Yeah.
But the plan is that he's considering is abolishing them. Now, this is an official policy, but it's fair play to him. I went up to him and I said, are you planning this? And he said, it's an idea that they're considering. And the reason is, you remember when he had Drakeford on and he was saying, we have too many hospitals in Wales.
Yes.
This Caerphilly cheese is delicious.
Yeah.
Those two things weren't related.
Yeah.
And he said the problem is too much money goes into secondary care instead of primary care, which
Sure.
is where most of the contacts are. GPs used to get about 12% of the overall NHS budget. They now get 5%. But that's where about 90% of the contacts are. Obviously, they can't get all the budget because it's a lot more expensive to perform like brain surgery than it is to go and see your GP.
Yeah.
But the plan that Plaid are throwing around is to get rid of all the health boards and then essentially just have 2 organisations, one which is primary care and then one that is secondary care. So you essentially don't have health boards. You just have like the primary care board, for want of a better word, and the secondary care board. And you allocate money in that way. So you might give like 12, 13% to primary care, so or X amount to primary care. Now, there are obviously questions to this, like where does stuff like mental health, where does community care go into all this? And they envision it going into primary care. And the idea is that would be an easier way to distinguish it, and it would take away the competition between health boards, because I'm not saying if this is a good or bad thing, by the way, but they think that having all these different health boards means that they spend all their time trying to not fix stats, but chase targets to compare well against each other rather than adopting good practice and being collaborative. That's his thoughts.
Interesting. I also quite like this the response of, are you doing this? And it's an idea we're considering, as opposed to, let me be clear, read our manifesto, that kind of thing. Like, actually, no, we're discussing it and we're trying to work out what the best idea is. I quite
really
like that.
refreshing,
Yeah.
actually.
Isn't that nice, actually? Because politics really should just be an instrument for making our lives better. And actually, I think people are quite open to it if you actually lay it out and say, but obviously, from a media perspective, you then put Plaid to abolish health boards. Some people read that and they'll get annoyed or happy about it.
And is anybody like a dyed-in-the-wool health board head? Do you know what I mean? Like, I make my entire personality about the health board in which I live under.
I really identify as a member of a Aneurin Bevan health board.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, if the powers that be want, you know what I mean? Though, but like, sort of like making, within the culture wars, people are like, I really, really care about this issue that I hadn't even considered about last week because I've been told to care about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit what health board I'm in.
No.
No.
Sure, like, but
exactly.
maybe that's my naivety and really
You just
understanding
want
what
it
they
to
do.
work, don't you?
Yeah, that's most people's priority, right? That
Yeah.
they can go to the hospital if they need to and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but in terms of stats and stuff, maybe I'd feel differently if I was in, Betsy Cadwallader, like.
And it really wasn't working,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. But also, I think, like you said, this is so refreshing, and it also gives them an opportunity to go, we've considered the options, it's not the right move right now,
Yeah.
but this is why we did. And I think that, like, don't patronise the electorate either when you like reforms, I'm sorry to give them airtime, like reforms pledges, whatever the hell that is.
They
it's
mean
like,
nothing.
Exactly. And it is very, very patronising. Whereas this, at least they're going, this is something we'd be considering and we'll look at all the options. But I think, very kind of, it's thought focused.
It's also like, in terms of like trust in government is the thing globally that is, the issue now with incumbents losing here, there and everywhere. Whereas, going into these things of, we will deliver this, we will cut waiting times by this. If you break those promises, that just cements it. I understand that people need to have things to aim for, and it makes things seem like you know what you're doing. If you're like, we're going to cut things by X%.
Yeah.
But actually going into it and going, look, this, this is a plan.
Yeah.
I think that is better for trust, personally.
Well, if you remember, like, start of COVID, when they said, we need you to do this, this, and this. This is the evidence we have, and this is why we're doing it. People were actually willing to endure quite a lot of crap because they felt they knew why they were doing it.
Yeah.
And actually, it is nice to see, like, I'm not really kind of critiquing the merits of this. I've had a chat with a few people within the Welsh NHS. Some of them have gone, how the hell would this even work? But
It's change,
it's change. But it is nice to see someone acknowledging that there is a huge problem and it probably needs quite a substantial, like, ambitious and radical solution. Which is quite... talking of sustained problems, another issue they wanted to address was poverty, so especially child poverty. Wales has 32% child poverty, so 32% of kids.
So high, isn't it?
Yeah, a third of kids.
Say that again. 32% of children in Wales
Live in poverty.
Isn't that a fucking disgrace?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's really shocked me.
Yeah,
My
so-
mind is blown.
Walk around, 1 in 3 kids you see. Obviously don't walk around in Monmouthshire because that probably won't apply.
Might be different, but and I suppose as well what we forget is that when we think of poverty, like naively we think of certain demographics, whereas actually like rural poverty is a huge issue in Wales.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't want to get, because I actually want to I'm doing a special report in the newsletter on poverty at the moment, and that's going to come out in a month or so, and then we'll break it down here. But one of the most annoying things I remember Rishi Sunak saying in a long list of things was, I just hit my nose into the microphone.
He couldn't do that.
No.
Down there.
He's one of the few people I can do short jokes about. So I remember watching him once when he was Chancellor saying, well, actually, poverty has gone down by like 60% since 2010. And I was like, that seems pretty wrong.
Yeah.
And actually, I looked at it and he was technically right because there's several definitions of poverty. So there's absolute poverty and there's relative poverty. So absolute poverty is you take a figure in 2010 and you say, this is the number. If you earn over this, you're not in poverty. If you earn under, you are in poverty. And then you keep that as the number. As people earn more, fewer people are in poverty. But obviously, if your like budget or your rent doubles or your heating bill goes up by 5 times, the fact that you earn £2 over the poverty limit then means nothing. So the best measurement is, there's lots of ways to measure it, but the best measurement is relative poverty, where it's based upon average incomes and stuff like that. Anyway, went off on a tangent. So 32% of kids in Wales are in poverty. By 2029, that's going to go up to nearer like 34, 35%. So bad direction of travel. There's only one country in the UK which is scheduled to see a fall in poverty, and that's Scotland. And the reason that is because Scotland have brought in a thing called the Scottish Child Payment, where essentially any parent who receives universal credit, if you have a child, you get just given some money. They just give you a payment. And that applies for however many kids you've got. Because ultimately poverty is an issue of money. Like, you can give things like vouchers, you can do all sorts of stuff, but actually the biggest way to alleviate poverty is just to give money.
Yeah.
So Plaid's plan is to have any child who is under 6, so 6 or under, and the parents receive universal credit, they will get 10 quid a week extra. In Scotland, it started at 10 quid a week. It's now up to, how much is it now? It's up to 26 quid a week. So what Plaid want to do, they want to have 15,000 households in a trial. So if they were to gain power, they say, right, we'll do about a year where we'd give 15,000 of these, which is about 10% of households in poverty. Do this trial. If it works, we'll roll it out to everyone who is eligible. That would cost 78 million quid a year. Now, Plaid argue the Welsh government spend about 5 billion on poverty reduction stuff. So we could find
you
that
could
money.
find that.
I mean, in the grand scheme of a budget, it's not actually that much.
Sure.
It's not really that much at all. The question is, can they actually do this legally? Because Scotland has more powers than Wales, and there isn't actually, welfare's not devolved. So they say that they can do it. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but they say they can use the Wales Act 2006, Section 60, which says Welsh ministers may do anything which they consider appropriate to achieve the promotion or improvement of social well-being in Wales, which is pretty fucking broad.
That's very broad. To say, but, yeah.
I believe that giving myself this money will.
Yeah.
But there could be a real fight over this because if the Welsh government give people money, that becomes taxable. So when the Welsh government under Drakeford did their basic income pilot, where they gave people care leavers money, the Treasury taxed it. So they asked the Treasury not to tax it because they were doing this experiment, but they taxed it. So quite a lot of money, which was in the Welsh budget, went to people in Wales, but was then taxed and just went back to Westminster.
Sure.
So,
I mean, anything that would sort of put money into the pocket of people that need it, that feels like a good idea. It doesn't feel like a huge amount in the grand scheme of that sort of that budget, you know?
The argument they'll make is, like, poverty underpins every issue in Wales. Like, poverty makes education outcomes worse. Poverty makes healthcare. If you reduce poverty, healthcare gets cheaper.
Yeah.
So their argument is this saves money.
Because there's less pressure on the system, right?
Yeah.
And this also feels like a plan that has been thought through. Do you know what I mean? Because there are so many cases. People say, obviously, we want to reduce poverty in Wales. But then, you know, it's very easy to sell an ideal world without telling people how you're going to do it. Whereas this actually feels, and obviously I know it's easy for them to say at the moment because they're not in power, but it feels like something they have actually thought through and could actually operationally work.
Yeah. It's also, I suppose, easier to justify because Scotland have done it, so there's a precedent there. Where, you know, if Scotland had done 20 mile an hour before us, you'd be like, look, it's worked here. Look at the amount of casualties that we're saving lives here.
Yeah.
But being the first country to do stuff, this is when, you know, you need to have, you know, brave governments, I suppose, or at least sort of like ones who are dedicated and doing what they feel like is a better way of promoting a better society. But yeah, it's much easier when you've got, look, the old McSwinney.
It's also, from Plaid's perspective, the way they can compare themselves to Labour. So if Labour are like keeping the 2-child cap on benefits and, you know, freezing disability benefits, and they can go, well, actually, in Wales, we're doing this. And it's a way of them, like, disassociating themselves with Labour and saying, look, we're a bit different. So I think that is also plays into it. But it's quite nice just to talk about policy, isn't it?
Oh, it's so refreshing.
Yeah, actually just talk about, instead of someone said this or someone's done that, it's actually quite nice just to talk about ideas.
Well, this is it. And I think especially as we approach into it, you know, in 12 months from now, we'll be talking a lot about he said, she said.
Yeah.
And there'll be a glut of policy of, you know, do you remember when Rishi said we're all going to do national service? And it was like, okay, Rishi.
Yeah.
Like, I think there'll be a lot of... So it's quite nice to do it in this sort of quite slow paced, okay, let's deal with this in an intelligent way.
Yeah, because, you know, this isn't the type of policy that realistically is going to like grab headlines. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a sexy one.
And how bleak is that,
which
really?
is ridiculous, isn't it? But like you say, it's nice now, before we enter that era, to actually talk about things that could actually make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you some quick fire takeaways from the conference. Not like Chinese.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
What did you eat?
Cowl.
Just cowl, faggots, leeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did I eat? There's a restaurant called Dylan's in Llandudno, which is really, really nice.
Did you have any fish and chips by the sea?
I know this sounds really lame. I actually was just working the whole time. Like, it was like a sandwich from like a garage which is across the road. It was a bit depressing.
Yeah.
Really.
Were you in Venue Cymru?
Yeah.
I was presenting at an award ceremony that was there.
Right.
That was very much focused on the food and drink industry. And when they broke for dinner, no dinner for Muggins over here.
They didn't give you dinner at the...
No, so I had to watch everybody else eat dinner, and it was very well sourced dinner, you know, a lot of like Welsh produce and all of this, and I had to watch them eat. And so I went in my outfit to the Esso garage around the corner and got tang fastics, and that was my dinner.
Oh my God.
But the takeaways you did or didn't have them, in some did not.
The first one is the Tories were barely mentioned. So normally at Plaid Conference, it was like, Tories bad, Tories bad. There was a joke about Thatcher at one point in the Rhunicorn.
Oh, just wins the room over.
Yeah.
Like,
Bit of local.
yeah.
But everything was really clear. Plaid are going all out for disillusioned Labour voters. That is their big target.
So they want to become, if you're disillusioned, if you want to protest your vote, come to us rather than Reform.
Yeah. If you are
Interesting.
If you are socially liberal or centre, left of centre, and you can't keep endorsing Labour, come to us. That is their wholesale.
And do you think, obviously, you know, historically they've had a problem in the valleys, haven't they? Being able to sort of like turn those Labour heads their way. And I think, you know, anecdotally, I know, you know, dyed-in-the-wool Labour supporters who will vote Reform in this upcoming Senate election. How well do you think they could do in the valleys?
I mean, Leanne Wood won there before. I think they will win seats in the valleys.
Sure.
Now, it depends whether disillusioned Labour voters vote for them or stay home. I think that is like the consideration.
Society.
Yeah.
We did it, guys.
Yeah, well done, guys. Plaid were clearly trying to appeal to people outside of their base, and there was one line from the leader's speech which stood out to me, because obviously I think a lot of people in Wales, their issue with Plaid is they just don't feel it's for them.
Yeah.
They think they're
Welsh enough.
They don't speak the language, which most people in Wales don't, to any great degree. So, in the speech he said, "To me, it's simple enough. If you feel this nation is yours and you want to have a stake in its future, that's all that matters."
Nice.
So he wasn't saying we're here for Welsh people.
Yeah.
It's saying if you feel like you care, we're here.
And I suppose that steps away from the independence argument,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Because it goes, you don't have to want independence to vote for it. Because very much that was, you know, for a very long time, like kind of like their main messaging. So very interesting that they've kind of just stepped a little bit back from that, which probably like for them is a very good choice, because I think there are more independent skeptics in Wales than there are people who are for it. Like that's just fact, you know?
And I think if you can sum yourself up as a government in waiting, like we are the grown-ups.
We're the obvious choice.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of them not mentioning the Tories, I mean, we'll assume now that they're going to have an awful night, like, you know, all things considered. Do you think Plaid are just assuming that those, say, like, the farm voters who don't want to vote for the Conservatives anymore will just naturally go over to Plaid?
Yes, so that's a really really good question, because I haven't published my interview with Rena as we're recording this. It probably will have gone out by the time the pod goes out. But the only time he was really, I felt uncomfortable when I interviewed him, was when I was asking him about farming. And I said, do you think, you know, tree planting should be in the sustainable farming scheme? Because they are really going after Welsh rural communities and farmers in particular. And they obviously, they really are having their cake and eat it. And I think Plaid have been getting away with a lot with regard to this, because they'll talk about their pro-environmental credentials. But he really didn't give me a very good answer when it came to that. Because I said, do you think that farmers are doing enough at the moment to help? And he would just kind of...
That's really interesting, because he could really come out swinging against Labour, and I'm sure there are reasons that he's not, but he could, because the thing is, those farmers who are angry at Labour weren't Labour voters anyway. Like, let's be honest, on average, they weren't Labour voters. They were probably Tories. So if, you know, it would just feel like, I'm wondering why not come out swinging against them when you could easily scoop them up.
Because he could scoop them up, but also he then leaves himself really open for people to question his environmental credentials. And Plaid are trying to say, we are the greenest party. Because also, the only other pro-independence party in Wales is the Greens.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they're planning like their strategy around countering the Greens. I don't think they really think about them that much. But they do want to appear... they don't want to be open to being criticised for not being environmentally friendly enough.
I get you.
So it's that, and I think that is actually a point where I'm not sure how much cut for it has with like the wider public really, but I think that was something where I was like, I really don't think you've worked out how to appeal legitimately to people in rural Wales and people in kind of more metropolitan Wales.
Because also there are, and I'm only going off vibes and anecdotes, but I think when you're in very rural areas of Wales, the language is so prevalent that it doesn't feel under threat at all. So they probably wouldn't feel that motivated to go for a party that is really pro the language and all that, because they're like, well, we speak it at home, we speak it in town. We don't need to fight for it.
That's
We've got
a given.
It. Yeah, 100%. So, it's not like they can even rely on that basis. They're like, well, they're Welsh speakers, so they'll go for us, because I don't think that is the case.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's quite... I think a lot of people in that area who vote Plaid are doing it through muscle memory anyway. The overwhelming sense I got, so before elections, like the conferences in the run up to elections, the party that thinks it's going to win is normally really excited at their conferences, and they're all like doling out the roles, who's going to do what. Like,
was there a bit of a frisson of that?
I think there wasn't much of that, but I think it's because Plaid have realised, shit, we've got a chance of winning. Or at least we might have the First Minister. Realistically, there's 3 people who can be First Minister. It's Rhun ap Iorwerth, it's Leonard Morgan, or it's player to be named later from Reform.
Mini Farage.
Yeah, Mini Farage.
It's so funny, isn't it? Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
It is.
That one of the 3 is...
The mystery box.
Yeah, it's kind of like Deal or No Deal.
Oh, God, it's blue.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all going white.
Yeah, they are. They are.
It's a bit Mars Singer, isn't it? Oh, God!
Yeah, who's behind the chicken? Can you imagine if that's how they did it?
Take it off. Take it off.
It's like, put it back.
It's Lee Anderson and the octopus.
That's the gammon.
Just flopping around. Just takes the crackling off.
I mean, if we could do a debate special where each of the leaders, Lynette, you can keep your shoes off if you want. We should do it.
I would love to do. I think we should do for Wales see Wales debate in the run up to the.
Yes, absolutely. And also, guys,
Robin's face.
I would love that.
When they name Lead Gammon, I would love to have Lead Gammon on the pod.
Yeah.
Like to have that conversation, because I'm so intrigued by these people. I really, really, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. I genuinely want to know how their mind works. So when they do elect a Lead Gammon for Wales, I think we should have them on.
Yeah, and how they're going to govern, and how they're going to be the opposition, and how they're going to do the actual nuts and bolts of what they're being paid to do.
Yes, exactly. We'll serve them up some sausages.
Oh, I love sausages.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be me.
Can you imagine if it was? That'd be
Take it off.
Who's under the mark?
Just 1 week. Hello, I've got a rosette there. Hello
Robin
and welcome.
Yeah. They'll be like, that Netflix documentary side, there were signs the whole time.
Yeah. You slowly sort of zoom into my eyes and just smiling every time you mention Reform. It's like, oh, it was him all along.
It's always him.
I might actually go for it now.
Yeah, it would be funny.
For a joke.
You Trojan horse the hell out of Reform. That would be hilarious.
I wouldn't Trojan horse it.
Would you not? You just absolutely ride that horse into the sunset.
Over a cliff, would it?
Anyway, what other takeaways did you have?
The final thing so it's that feeling of we're going to have to deliver all these things that we've promised. And there was a bit of more like realism. Like when you applied like speeches, you think, yeah, but you're never going to have to do that. So you can just say whatever the fuck you like. And some of them were now saying to me like, oh, we need to actually cost this stuff and we need to like work it out. We can't just say
We've
things.
downloaded Excel. This is how serious we are.
We've asked our members if they can find Excel documents for us. But it was interesting. It was I find those things really, really useful because you get a flavour for how people are feeling about stuff. And what's nice is now, because I'm not actually today as we record it is exactly 6 months since I left Wales Online. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Happy half fired day? I don't know.
It was not fired. I was asked to leave.
Yeah. I was marched out.
I was marched out. Yeah. So I think it was interesting. I think that provides some good insights, but it's kind of getting a bit more real now. Like we're 14 months out.
Yes. And I'm actually excited about this election.
Yeah.
I think that because it feels like something could actually happen and change.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And, even if that doesn't mean a change in government per se. I think they really have to try this time, is what I'm saying. They really have to put a shift in.
Yeah.
And I just think that actually we might have time, like an opportunity for real politics in this election. And that really excites me.
Labour, people within Welsh Labour, like staff and stuff, are kind of bricking it. Like, I know that lots of the SPADs, so the special advisors, are trying to get out. And they're trying to get jobs in within Welsh Labour, not within Welsh government.
Right,
They're seen as more secure.
Yeah.
There's a frustration because, speaking generalities, the special advisors within the current government are very much like communications experts rather than policy experts. And there's a feeling that the focus isn't on like governing, it's kind of on managing and trying to get. And there's various frustration that with some of them, they don't feel like Linda Morgan's like listening to them. There's questions about who's really running the show. Like, is it Drakeford? Is it her?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
who wears the shoes?
Who wears the shoes? No one at all.
It will be so interesting to see if Labour do come out swinging. How?
What's quite interesting, like one of the problems is, so, you know, we've said about Welsh Labour really wanting UK Labour to give them something in the spending review that's coming up. I've had conversations with people, and I'm not giving away confidences here, but UK Labour have got a problem in that, say they do something that massively helps the Welsh Government, they also then massively help the SNP. Because if you support the devolved nations and do more, you're giving more for the SNP, who UK Labour see as a much bigger rival.
Yeah, sure.
And obviously, this just sums up what an atrocious system we currently have.
Sure.
Whereby things aren't based on need; it's all politicking. It's all like favours. Can we do something for that area? Can we do something for this? And it's really, really, it's so depressing. But I mean, yeah.
I was going to say, also the view of like how the national parties are seen, even if it's in devolved policy areas, what the national parties are doing UK-wide is very, very important. And UK Labour will still be in that period of where we can do some unpopular things because we've got some years before the next general election.
Absolutely.
So let's do some things that we really kind of have to do that nobody's going to thank us for. And that's going to have an impact on Welsh Labour then going into the Senedd elections.
Yeah. It's I hadn't considered, obviously by the time this goes out, the spelling review would have, Rachel Reeves's thing would have,
Shit will have hit the fan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Could be sitting on a nest egg.
What's also funny is there's a real disconnect between in the Senedd election who they're most worried about. So UK Labour want to focus on reform. They want Welsh Labour to focus on reform. They're like, reform is the threat, reform is the worry.
Sure.
Welsh Labour, are more worried about Plaid. They can see votes going to Plaid, and they're concerned about that, because really the evidence is, we've discussed this lots of times in previous pods, that actually people aren't really going from Labour to Reform because they've already left. Those voters have already gone. But they are losing voters directly to Plaid. So it's an interesting time. And Welsh Labour have just got a new head of communications. So the previous one left and went to work for the main party in London, and they've just got a new one. And I wish her the best of luck, because that is a fucking hard job.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she'd be listening to this, but any Labour members who are listening to this on behalf of Welsh Labour can pass on my...
I'm going to tell you said that.
Any more Freddie Morgans?
I'm all good.
I'm all good.
Oh, I should say, I was on the steps of the BBC the other day. Someone came up to me and they were like, Will, love the pod. And then I was like, Robin. And he goes, oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So we're interchangeable, I think.
I mean, we're white dudes who went to Cardiff Uni and did politics.
Yes,
and we're exactly the same age.
Yeah.
I don't know you apart. I guess.
Yeah.
I say Robin.
The glasses helps,
yeah,
right? The glasses helps.
Yeah. But whichever one you are, I like you both.
The funny one.
I'm Mellow, and who are you?
That's why I don't say anything. I know I'd be Mellow, and then look around and I'm like...
And we are Rob and Will. Remember, subscribe, share, write reviews, sponsor us if you like.
Oh yeah, there's some room to sponsor us. If you fancy sponsoring us and having your wonderful company name said aloud with these voices.
We can do specific adverts with ACT. We've just given them some extra sponsorship, haven't we? With ACT, we did.
We'll bleep them out.
we did myth busting. We can do all sorts of stuff. So if you want to support your friendly neighbourhood podcast, do get in touch.
I'm not friendly.
No.
No. Or in your neighbourhood.
If you want to support your passive-aggressive, far-away podcast.
National podcast.
Who doesn't even know the names of our own podcast hosts.
Yeah, for sure.
Then sponsor away.
Indeed. Get in touch and like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Get some merch if you fancy it. You can find the link underneath every podcast note, I believe, Daryl. Is that correct? Thank you, Daryl. He's nodding.
I think we need to get hoodies ourselves and wear them on the pod.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
I'd like that. I like a hoodie.
Yeah. The mugs are going down very well. I've seen many people sending photos of them with the mugs. Should we do a little cheers?
Yeah, a little shit.
Cheers.
Oh,
and they didn't break.
They didn't break.
They didn't break. Don't put hot water in them, though, because there's been a few recalls. I'm joking.
And a big thanks to Hey Man Media for helping produce this podcast. If you need podcast, if you need video, if you need pictures, they are your people.
They're brilliant. They're brilliant. Guys, I've been Mel Owen.
I've been Will or Robin.
I'm Robin Morgan.
The fuck?
Guys, end the pod now. End the pod. Thanks for listening.
Bye.